Hey guys, it's Max, and today we're going to be talking about supply drops, random based loot systems, whatever you want to call them, and why it's destroying the gaming industry. Now, we first started seeing these things when microtransactions started to become real big a few years back. It was a nice way for the developers to make a few extra bucks on the side, and while it may have damaged some games a little, it wasn't overall a huge impact to the quality of the game. You saw this in games like Evolve, which is actually didn't come out too long ago. Essentially, they're adding skins for people to buy, and the argument here is that older games you had to unlock these types of skins by achieving something in the game, like beating a mission on hard or whatnot. So, some people thought these types of microtransactions ultimately degraded these games. For the most part now, gaming companies have figured out the maximum way of earning revenue for games, and that's through random based loot drops. You see this in Call of Duty, CSGO, and a lot of other games. The main problem here is that you're essentially gambling for a small chunk of content in a game that you'll never be able to achieve without paying huge sums of money. If you want to pay upfront for an AK-47 Fire Serpent skin in CSGO, that's going to be around $4,500, and the game costs $15. To some people, that's not a big deal because it's a skin and doesn't affect the actual gameplay of the game. Disregarding that ridiculous price, it's not that big of a deal, but really every piece of content should be accessible by the player. Other games like Halo 5 are kind of reasonable with their loot drops because the devs give free DLC in return for people buying packs. But at the end of the day, I still want to access that content. But it would take me like a year to grind it out and get that electric gravity hammer I always wanted. I still ultimately think that it's better for the game though, because if they offered paid DLC, it could divide the community depending on the player count. But like I said, it's still really shaky because some players do want to access that content, but they won't ever get to do that. Now, the real problem comes in games like Black Ops 3, because Black Ops 3 forces you to gamble for DLC guns, basically extending that original price point of the game from anywhere to $60 to $100 if you want that DLC gun. This game is paving the way for other games to make similar moves. Trust me, guys, while there's only a few games with these pay to win loot drops, you're going to see this more and more because it makes a crap ton of money. Microtransactions have been gradually getting worse, and random based loot drops are the worst thing to come. In any form of gambling, it can become addictive. When you win, you feel kind of happy and you kind of want to get that again. And you may think to yourself, maybe I'll get lucky and win again. The fact is, you won't win again because the odds are against you. But people just don't get it, and that's why you see all these gambling addicts nowadays, and it's just a huge problem. And now this gambling is being offered to stupid, naive little kids under the age of 18, which is supposedly illegal. I mainly have to credit B Dobbins FTW. I think he was the first one to come up with this idea. And there's a reason why gambling is illegal for minors, because gambling is throwing away money, and kids especially can't handle or understand that at a young age. Even older people can't understand that. That goes back to my point about people being addicted to gambling. The main point here is that these big gaming companies want you to waste all of your money away on them. Even if you're smart enough to avoid this system, like most people, it doesn't really matter because it's already degrading the game. You don't get to experience the full game for the price you were supposed to pay for. Games aren't $60 anymore. That $60 price tag is a lie that the game companies want you to believe so that you can pay a little more later at a different time. A lot of games nowadays are at least $110 for the game and the season pass, which is a lot on its own, but then we have those pay to win RNG drops that are just going to add on to that $110. The cost of games will likely always stay at $60, but it's almost starting to look like we have to pay a mortgage on our games now. We as a community need to speak up and make it clear that we are not okay with this. Reach out to any developer or company you like and voice your opinion. Seriously, because if we start to do that, it puts pressure on these gaming companies. Ultimately, by doing this, we can improve and make the cost of games cheaper. And it's not even like we have a choice anymore. Because as I said earlier, more and more games are going to implement this. Especially free-to-play games, as if the pay-to-win system wasn't bad enough in free-to-play games. It's not about one game that you love that's going to be trashed by these pay-to-win RNG loot systems. It's about the games of the future. That's all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys all for watching. Leave some support. See you guys.